Hey guys, if you're a business owner, business manager, or somebody who is running a business, then it would be in great interest to you because I want you to stick to this video clip for a few more minutes, and I'm about to show you that why do we believe that we're sitting on an economic bubble at the moment, which will be burst either this year or next year. So topics we're going to be covering on this clip is economic crisis 2016 and 17, and more importantly how you can protect your wealth. So the areas we will cover today, but before I get into this topic, I may as well give you the quick introduction, who am I and what we're all about. Guys, my name is Zach Harris. I am a professional trader, financial trader by profession, but my real passion is in teaching others how to identify an economic bubble, how to protect yourself from any economic crisis, plus how you can develop an additional source of income and what are the trends you can follow right now to protect your wealth and to increase your wealth. That's exactly what we're about to cover today. So guys, before I get into the details of it, I want to show you what are the history of money and what will be the future of money if these crises happen. Secondly, I want to cover what are the real reasons behind these economic bubble that we're sitting on, which will be burst, and I genuinely believe it's worse than ever any other bubbles. If you believe that 2007 bubble was bad enough, so I tell you one thing, according to our research, we believe it's going to be 10 times worse. Yes, 10 times worse than 2007-2008 bubble. But guys, more importantly, it's not all bad in this video clip because we're about to show you what are the wealth protection strategies that you can apply today. What are the right mechanics that you can apply to protect your business that you are currently running or your own. And also your current wealth, no matter what have you got at the moment. If you've got no matter what how much savings or businesses or properties or anything you have got there, if you want to actually secure and protect all that, I want you to watch this video clip. That will be very informative and that would be a great interest to you. So guys, the history of money. To have a better understanding the reasons behind a financial crisis, I think you got to understand that what is the difference between money and currency. There's a massive difference. Well, the way I would define money is a measure of value and a means of payment in order to receive your goods. But how can you define currency? Now, currency is a system of money. It's not actually money. It's the current system of money what we are using right now in order to receive our goods. That's the difference between money and currency. So guys, when you go back thousands of years ago, what would be the first form of money? So the first form of money was a barter system, as we all know. It is a system when you would exchange your goods in order to receive other goods, without using a medium of exchange such as money, currency, or anything. That would be known as a barter system, and that was the actual first form of money. But after the barter system, we had metal money. Now the first metal money and coins were introduced in 1000 BC. Bronze and copper Kori imitations were manufactured in China, but it could considered as the earliest real form of metal money. When I say metal money, we're talking about gold, silver, and copper. Now let's move on to the third form of money, which was the paper money. So we had barter system, then we moved on to the metal money. Then this is the third form of money, which was the paper money. Now the paper money, guys, was first introduced in 7th century. Now remember that China was the first country to introduce metal money, plus China was also the country that introduced paper money in 7th century. But in 11th century, it spread it all around the world. Now, the main reason that in the human age, they started using currency like a paper currency because there was a shortage of copper coins to make more coins. And when it comes to gold and silver, gold or silver is always known as a precious metals, and no one want to give up their gold and silver. Like if back in the days, 1000 years ago, if you used to have a lot of gold that you own a lot of gold, that means like you would class as a higher authority within your tribe or within your circle of people. So you don't want to lose that authority figure, and that's one of the main reasons that people didn't never wanted to get rid of their gold or wanted to give up their gold, you know. So that was the third form of money. Now the fourth and the last form of money, which we are still currently in this day we're using, is plastic money, which is an easier way of paying for your bills rather than carrying the huge amount of cash. Now that plastic money, I'm talking about the Visa, MasterCard, Visa debit card, Maestro, or whatever, wherever you are all around the world, I'm sure you're using some sort of card in order to take money out or pay for your bills, and that is a plastic money. Now this plastic money was first introduced in 1950s, but nowadays it's the most common type of money that we carry on daily basis, on daily use. As if you look back in 2005 or 2002, 2001, we probably used to carry a lot more cash than we would nowadays. I'm sure you guys, all guys, would agree. So I want you to understand, guys, that the forms of money is constantly changing. That from barter system to metal money, from metal money to currency, which is the paper money, plus the plastic money. So it's constantly changes. It's just like digital music, digital movies, like the forms of movies and CDs. It's all getting changing, and it's getting more and more digitalized, in other words. So guys, I want you to understand, I'm going to jump onto the topic of economic crisis. Now, we genuinely believe that we are about to enter into the biggest financial crisis the world has ever known, and the reason behind it is quantitative easing. Now, what is quantitative easing, guys? Quantitative easing is an unconventional monetary policy in which a central bank purchases government securities or other securities from the markets in order to supply or print more money. Now, technically, this money what we're using right now, if you're carrying any money, either paper money or plastic money, it's worth absolutely nothing, because it's not backed up by gold or silver or any other precious metals anymore. And they took, all the central banks around the world took the control of printing more money, and that is why that original money has worth absolutely nothing. And that's what I genuinely believe it is gonna cause us the biggest economic crisis the world would ever know. Now, why do I believe that it will happen? Because if you look back to history, back in 1920s, it happened in Germany when people used to pay one German mark for one loaf of bread back in 1918. Now, 7 years later, only 7 years later, in 1925, same people were paying 1 million or over 1 million German mark for one loaf of bread. And why did it happen? Because they started printing more money. Their government and their banking system took the control of printing more money, and that caused hyperinflation when prices increased every within 48 to 72 hours. The prices were increasing within 20 to 40%, and obviously they ended up printing more money, because they wouldn't have enough money to even buy food or normal necessities. And that's it has also happened not only in Germany but also in Hungary in 1940s, as well as in Zimbabwe recently in 2007 and 2008. And that's the oversupply of money caused hyperinflation, and hyperinflation destroyed most of the businesses. Their money worth absolutely nothing, you know. And guys, it's a very scary thing if you think about it. That happened in individual countries, but it never happened globally. And now it turned into a global problem, because all the central banks around the world are following the lead of US Fed Reserve and European Central Bank, and it is very scary. And that is why I decided to get involved in these strategies and to protect myself. It is a part of my job to analyze markets, but not only for a month or two, but next coming years, just to see what can go wrong, or what kind of economic bubble we're sitting on at the moment, and what can we do now to protect our businesses and our wealth for our family and for kids and for our next generation. I want you to understand these bubbles that economic bubbles happens, and these bubble burst and any economic crisis happen, they're the people, all the banks around the world, they create these bubbles. Like for example, if you remember back in 2001, there was a dot-com bubble was burst, and a lot of people took massive hit because of that bubble. But what they done is they started giving out mortgages all around the world, and what mortgages caused it is another bubble. They created another bubble, which was a debt crisis bubble. Like a lot of people didn't have a job and they were getting 110% mortgages. They made an absolutely mockery of the system because they started printing more money. If you remember back in the day when we were kids, our parents used to say you have to work hard for your money, because money doesn't really grow on trees. But they have made it even easier than that. What they do is literally get into the system, add few more digits, and the number is added. Means you've got your mortgage, you've got your bank loans, you've got everything, whatever you wanted to get. And that's how they created the debt crisis bubble. And when they raised so much debt, one country owned so much money to the other country, one bank owned another bank so much money, then they decided, why not basically restart it, simply print more money, and we name it QE, quantitative easing, and we will just show them, look, this is the way you could actually clear your debt. That's just like any other person, the countries be able to clear their debt. But they don't realize when they actually printing more money, they're still giving them a loan. It's not a charity money that you would actually get it, clear your debt, and you'll forget about it. It's like you actually apply for a loan from your bank, and let's say you get $5,000 loan, $5,000 US, but now you can't really pay your repayments. Your repayments is €500. Then you go back to your bank and say, look, I can't pay you your money back, I want another loan. And bank gives you, instead of 5, it gives you $15,000 loan, because you can't make your repayments. You can't make your payments to cover your first loan. It's exactly the same thing. So you're getting into more debts and there's no way out of it. Like there's no way that US, United States of America, Ireland, UK, and all these Western countries, they actually think that they can get out of that situation. That they can. And but the problem is, we don't realize the people at the end of the day, it's not the big corporation who are going to suffer from these crises. It's only the small to medium businesses will be suffering. They will have to let people go, like last time what happened back in 2007 and 2008. That's why you're watching this clip, just to make sure you're very well protected if anything happens. And that, what I personally done for myself, these are the strategies I'm about to share that with you. Now guys, if you genuinely believe that it's not going to happen, all you gotta do is ask yourself, do you believe are the food prices going up gradually year by year? Health costs are going up as well as taxes are higher now. Insurance prices are higher. I don't know all around the world, but across UK and Ireland, the insurances have gone up by 35%. Commute prices are even higher now. Even stock prices are higher. You pay a lot more for your stocks than you would a few years back. Now the answer to this problem is to educate yourself with new financial trends. Be flexible to move with the upside and downside trends of the economy. But guys, the good news is there will be a wealth transfer taking place with these crises. But you got to be sure that you are on the right side and well protected. Like every other, like there were people after the 2007-2008 crisis, they have turned their actually investments into millions, because people were very well protected. They educated themselves, they knew what was coming, they actually used all these strategies, all these new trends, and created so much wealth for themselves. And that's exactly what I'm about to show to you, what I have done for myself in last couple of years. And this is the same advice I would give it to you, because we are sitting on a bubble which will be burst, and we are very close to it. Now guys, I want you to think about, okay? I want you to think about if it does happen, let's say tomorrow morning you wake up and you realize the currency, whatever currency you're using, it's after going bang, means that your currency is after collapsing. Now whatever money you have saved, let's say if you've got 10, 15, 20 million US dollars or euros or pound sterling, but they're worth absolutely nothing, how would that make you feel? Like you worked hard all your life to have these savings for your family, for your kids, for your business, to have that cash flow. Everyone has different reasons. But that money you have saved worth absolutely nothing. You will feel absolutely devastated and you would not know what to do. And that is why we are here to show you what can you do to protect yourself. So guys, if the money goes bang, I genuinely believe the future money will be a cryptocurrency. Now what is cryptocurrency? A lot of people have heard of Bitcoin. Simply, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Now it's a medium of exchange to purchase your goods using secured digital transactions without having to deal with a third party such as banks. The value is dependent on supply and demand. It behaves more like silver and gold. Now even Sir Richard Branson himself actually invested into cryptocurrency. Now when we're talking about Bitcoin has a fairly decent story behind it, because when they first started trading, they were trading as little as 10 cents back in 2008 and 2009, and right now as we speak it's trading over $600 per Bitcoin. Now what is Bitcoin, guys? Now the Bitcoin is a digital currency and a payment system invented by Satoshi Nakamoto, who published the invention in 2008 and released it as an open source software in 2009 for the public. Now Bitcoin is the currency of the internet, a distributed worldwide decentralized digital money, unlike traditional currencies such as dollars. Now Bitcoin, remember that, it's issued and managed without any central bank's authorities. There is no government, no company or bank in charge of Bitcoin. You in charge it yourself, and you control and you mine your own coins through your mobile app or through computer. Now this is the first off recorded Bitcoin transaction. Now back in 2010, man buys a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoins because he didn't have cash on him, and he ended up giving 10,000 Bitcoins to one of the pizza delivery guy. Now this time around, today this pizza be worth in around 7 million US dollar. Like probably about 20-30 quid worth of pizza turned into 7 million US dollar. Now this is the most expensive pizza in the world. If you think about it, 7 million US dollar. Wow. Now Bitcoin, as I said, started as 10 cents. Me personally was gonna get involved in Bitcoin back in 2011, 2008, and I was gonna get involved for $15 per coin. But as you guys know, what happens is every time you want to make a decision, especially when it comes to investment decision, you want to make sure you're doing the right thing. And that's what I wanted to make sure as well. And the no better person to be asking is than the Google. So I went on to google.com, search for Bitcoin. Is it a good investment? Is it worth investing in Bitcoin? All I got is only negative. Don't get involved in Bitcoin. It's a digital currency. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. It's not gonna work. But on the other hand, there's a guy who invested 27 US dollar of Bitcoin, and he totally forgot all about it, that he had invested in Bitcoin. And a few years later, when he was watching news, and when he saw the news about Bitcoin, that Bitcoin is after hitting $1,200 per coin, he checked his account. Them $27 were worth in around $886,000. He ended up buying himself a luxury apartment. As you can see here, it started trading in January 2009. It actually happened after $35. It dropped quite a bit in between $2 to $15, and that was the time, and I wanted to get involved, but I didn't. It hit up there to $210, and once it hits the open market in the financial markets, it was trading around $1,200 per coin. People have invested literally $50, 100, couple of £100, and they turned millions out of it. That's one of the strategy that you could use, but I'll give you in details. I myself personally have invested in digital currency. Why did I do it? What I wanted to achieve. I'll reveal all that in next few minutes. Now guys, let's move on to wealth protection strategies. Like now, the strategy has to have a high level plan to achieve or one or more goals under the conditions of uncertainty. Especially right now, all the economic situation is very uncertain. People don't know what will happen in next 6 months to 12 months time. We are losing control of our business, of our wealth, and that is not good, because we need to have the control. We need to know what would be the possible outcome. So guys, I'm about to share the strategies. Now the question is, what are the mechanics that you need to apply today to get the best possible outcome from your current wealth? Now remember that successful investors make their money work for them in the most efficient and the most effective way possible. You could also call it smart money. So if you want to be successful, if you want to know how to make your money work for you like never before, all you gotta do here is follow the successful investors, the most successful investors like Warren Buffett, like Jim Rogers, Tony Robbins, Sir Richard Branson, Bill Gates. You know, all these people are very experienced and they're very successful business owners. When they put their money online, they don't put only a couple of grand, they put a couple of hundred, a couple of million grand. And that, when that kind of money goes into any idea, that would increase the value. Now I want you to understand, we call it in financial term, we call it smart money. So as long as you know where the smart money is going, you're always secure. Now guys, we're going to talk about 3 simple rules. What are the rules to follow to get the best possible outcome? Now rule number 1 is get yourself educated with the most recent financial trends so you could protect your business from any upcoming crisis. Now rule number 2 is very simple. It's very straightforward. We all know it, but only 5% of us apply it. Spend less than what you earn and invest the rest. Now the rule number 3 is compound part of your profits, not everything, only part of your profits, and make a regular, only compound part of your profits. As Albert Einstein says, compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Now guys, I'm going to be sharing 3 basic strategies what I personally use to protect all my businesses. Number 1, long-term strategy, mid-term strategy, and short-term strategy. Now the long-term strategy you would define as an asset that not only holds its value but also increases its value in the future. When we're talking about long-term, we're talking about 10, 15, 20 years time, you know. And when let's move on to the mid-term strategy, an asset that will not only give you financial protection for this year but for the next few years. Now the short-term strategy has to be an asset that provides you with a 10 to 15% on a monthly basis in addition to your monthly income. As long as you're making 10 to 15% profit on a monthly basis, in the next 8 to 10 months or maybe 12 months time, you'll be able to make an additional source of income. And I'll tell you how, by using the power of compounding. That's how you'd make it. Now guys, let's talk about long-term strategy. Now the long-term strategy, I think no better strategy than gold and silver. Now gold, remember that it's a medium of exchange, a real form of money. It's portable, it's durable. You can produce it like any other currencies, the way central banks are doing it. More importantly, it's a storage value for a very long time. If it declines its value, it would be only for time being. Now silver, I genuinely believe, is even better than gold. Why? First of all, it's cheaper than gold. Now think about it. back in 2010, the information I'm about to give it to you, it's very vital and very informative. Now in 2010, there were about 320 million ounces of silver were available. At the start of the 19th century, like if you go back in around 110 years back, there was 2 billion ounces of silver was available. But now only 270 million ounces silver available above ground. We're talking about 98%. Oh, actually over 98% silver has disappeared, demolished. What actually happens? Simply because it's higher in demand than gold. Simply because of more usage. Now 48% of silver is primarily used for industrial application. Now the rest of it used for net investments, coins, metals, silverware, photography and jewelry. And guys, let's move on to a short-term protection strategy. Now when it comes to short-term protection strategy, we're talking about to generate yourself 10 to 15% per month without having you to trade your most valuable asset, which is time. As I'm sure most of us are trading in between 40, 45, 50 hours every single week. But if we were to trade more hours, we wouldn't have any time with our family, with our kids. So make sure whatever money making machine or money making tool you're using, you don't have to trade a lot of time, maybe an hour or two or a few hours every week to be making 10 to 15% per month. But that's, I'm talking about net profit. Now I genuinely believe the financial trading is the only way that if you know what you're doing, you'll be able to capture easily 10 to 15% per month. You can make profits while assets rise in value, we all know that, but you can also make profits when it declines in value. We call it short trade, and that's how a lot of investors made millions from 2007-2008 crash. Why? Because they were on the right side. Now get yourself educated about the markets, learn how the markets works, how to pick a stock and compound your profits per month. But make sure you have risk management in place. As long as you know how to use risk management effectively, you can't go wrong. Now learn how the banks influence the share prices. You can take an advantage from the institutional money movements. That is another tip for you guys. Now once you're fully educated, it takes no more than 60 minutes says, but to be honest with you, about 20 minutes to 30 minutes every month to get 10 to 15% profit per month. Now this is a short-term strategy. Now to be achieving that, you have to have a strategic method for trading the markets, includes very specific proven strategy being used for a number of years and produce successful results from uncertain environment. Now remember that these market financial trading business is not just an emotional game, but also very uncertain. That makes it very emotional for any human to trade on the market. Now obviously it requires desire, discipline and decisiveness, but you have to have a good control of your emotion to make a success in the market. Now there's no rocket science to it. Simple basic equity trading I'm talking about. Simply you need to know what companies to trade on, what are the right companies that could get you 10 to 15% per month. Secondly, how to analyze markets. If you want to analyze technically, fundamentally, you need to know you've got the right tools to follow. Third and the last but not the least, guys, is risk management. Because it's very uncertain, no matter how good you are at trading, there will be times that your trade will turn against you. So you want to make sure you're very well protected and you're not losing more than 2-3% on a trade. But make sure when you're winning, you're always winning 10-15% per month. Now guys, if you know what you're doing, in the markets, you simply can get tax-free income. It can be tax-free for you. Spend only 30 minutes per week to generate 10 to 25% per month. Later, a few months later, it could become your income stream. Yes. And now, again, it's not dependent on any economic situation. If the economy is going up, down, sideways, no matter where it's going, as long as you know what you're doing, you'll be able to make money from the markets. Now, it's a skill set for life. Within a year, this will help you achieve financial independence. Now, what is financial independence? Let me tell you right now. Financial independence means that you have a source of income, and that income is not traded, haven't achieved by trading the most valuable asset, which is time. That you haven't traded 60, 70, 80 hours to be making these kind of income, but this is an additional income source. But that extra income is covering all your outgoings. When I say outgoings, I'm talking about your mortgage, car payments, your food, utilities, no matter what type of bills you have, including a couple of holidays per year too. If you like to go away on holidays and have a great time with your family, make sure that is also covered from your additional source of income. If that all covers, you're financially independent. Means if your outgoings are 50 grand, 70 grand, 80 grand, 100,000 euros or dollars, as long as you're making that kind of income from additional source of income, you will be financially independent. And I genuinely believe the stock market, financial market, is the place that you can achieve that. Again, I would repeat myself, as long as you know what you're doing. It's not dependent on any locations. You could be anywhere in the world and you could still trade away. I have some students who are retired. They're at the age of mid-60s, early 60s. They're retired. They're living abroad. All they want to do is one of my clients loves fishing, so he travels around the world because he's a big fan of fishing, and he still trades away. There's another client, he loves playing golf, so he start living in Canada. He's be playing golf in summer season every year in Canada, but he still be trading away. So that kind of freedom it provides you. You know, again, once you've got more freedom, you've got more time with your family and with your kids. Now guys, this is just a quick compounding table there, that even if you want to start trading with as little as 5,000 US dollars or 5,000 euros, and you're making minimum of 15%, which can be easily done as long as you know what you're doing. You could literally turn that 5 grand into 26,000 euros or 26,000 US dollars, whatever currency you're trading on in around the world. So that's the power of compounding. Yeah, I want you to learn how to trade the markets. Once you know how to trade the market, use the power of compounding. These trading strategies and compounding, it's amazing. It works like a miracle, and it will help you achieve financial independence. Now guys, before I move on to the next clip, I may as well tell you this. Now we're gonna move on to the mid-term strategy. So the long-term strategy is silver and gold, which I personally invested on it all around the world. Most successful investors, most successful business owners have invested on it. Secondly, if they don't trade themselves, they have people trading the markets for them. So if you can't afford to have somebody trade for you, you can literally start as little as few hundred quid, but make sure you do learn how to trade the markets, and make sure you do know how to use power of compounding. Now the third and the last, which is a mid-term strategy that will give you protection for the next few years, would have to be a digital currency. Guys, here is the digital currency that I personally invested about a year and a half ago in early 2015. Now I genuinely believe that could be the next Bitcoin, and we call it OneCoin. Now OneCoin is another cryptocurrency based on the Bitcoin method, and other cryptocurrency known as OneCoin Limited, a Gibraltar company founded by Bulgarian Dr. Ruja Natova. Now guys, I'm talking about, it was first launched in I think September 2014. The global distribution started today by the One Life network. Now, during the first operative year, OneCoin did over 1 billion euros in revenue. 3 months later, OneCoin passed the second billion mark. It's based, people are mining in over 200 countries, over 2 million miners, 2 million users of this cryptocurrency. Now, the head office is in Bulgaria, but they've got sub offices all around the world. Now, it is the most visited website by Alexa.com. Now, guys, this is designed and founded by Dr. Ruja in October. Now, she's got a huge experience in Bitcoin and the digital currency industry. She was a former associate partner with the McKinsey & Company. While she was with McKinsey & Company, she was doing a little bit of research about Bitcoin, and then she figured that out that it was a weak currency. Plus, their security wasn't as strong. That's why she wanted to launch her own currency. Now, guys, you don't have to get involved in it. I'm not getting paid by OneCoin. I'm just giving you an information. That's what I personally invested in. From the launch price was 50 cents. 12 months projection, 52 weeks projection. She projected that if they hit over 500% profit, they would be doing well. But believe it or not, after 12 months, that was the actual price, and that was actually trading over €5 per coin. So we're talking about over 1,000% return. I'm gonna play this clip, and that will give you an idea what kind of company it is and how
Back in the 1990s, most people hadn't heard of Microsoft or Apple. However, they both went on to become two of the largest companies in the world, and virtually everyone in the world knows their name. It took Microsoft nearly 9 years to turn over $1 billion in revenue. It took Apple nearly 7 years to accomplish that feat. And what most people today do not know, though, is that recently a new company became the fastest growing ever in history. It achieved a turnover of $1 billion in just 12 months, and amazingly, just 3 months later, achieved $2 billion. Most people in the world have not heard of this company, but those who have are about to experience massive financial benefits over the coming years. Those who are in the know are holders of something so special that in just a few years from now, people all over the world will want what they have and be willing to pay huge amounts of money for them. Who is this company, and what do those involved have now that will become so precious very soon? The company is called OneCoin, and those involved are the owners of the new digital currency that is set to become the #1 cryptocurrency in the world. Bitcoin started back in 2009, and no one took any notice. People thought it was a scam. It took nearly 3 years before Bitcoin was on the open market and began trading. It went from 10 cents per coin to over $1,200 per coin at the end of 2013. Those who had Bitcoins made fortunes. Bitcoin has a maximum of 21 million coins it can mine. To date, around 15.5 million coins have been mined. One coin will mine a total of 2.1 billion coins. To date, around 622 million have been mined. Once 70 to 80% of OneCoins have been mined, it will also go live on the market for anyone to purchase and use. When that happens, the price of OneCoins will truly explode, and those people who own them are going to experience wealth like never before. One of the major benefits for owners of OneCoin is the fact they cannot be stolen. Each coin has its own DNA, so if any coins were stolen, they can be traced and returned to the owner. The downside with nearly all other digital currencies is that this is not the case, as we saw with Bitcoin a few years ago when someone stole hundreds of thousands and some people lost fortunes because of it. History shows us that companies that bring major changes to our world are soon overtaken and left behind as better, more advanced companies step in and take over. Bitcoin is the founder of cryptocurrency, but over the next few years, OneCoin is set to raise the standards and become the #1 cryptocurrency globally. Business owners, lawyers, doctors and ordinary people all over the world are gradually understanding the fact that cryptocurrency is not just here to stay, but it will one day be the major payment platform for every single person in the world. Those people who get involved today, invest a little of their money and join our mining community are the ones who will literally be laughing all the way to the bank in a year or two from now. Our education packages will teach you exactly what cryptocurrency is, how to invest in poor economic times, and of course, how to trade with cryptocurrency and increase your wealth. Do you want to be the holder of a cryptocurrency that will be in hot demand within a few years? Do you want to benefit financially and maybe even be able to retire in a few years from now? If so, then take the time to learn about OneCoin and discover why so many people like yourself are now moving into the fastest growing trend worldwide. Hindsight is great, but foresight is life-changing.
Well guys, that is the end of this clip. So they have so many different packages. I'm not gonna get through all them, but if you need to get any information, you're more than welcome to send me an email and I'd be more than happy to assist you and show you exactly how I turned only a few grand into literally thousands. And I know point me saying that to you now, but yes, I will be able to log on to my system and I'll be able to show you my live account. So guys, that's the survey real quick. If anyone wants to get involved, they get involved with an educational package. The educational package comes with tokens. Your tokens, sometimes you get split, sometimes you don't. Then from them tokens, they go on to mining, and these tokens you could actually put them on mining, so they will create coin for you. Simply, the tokens are used to create new digital coins. Now guys, different packages, like literally that was the calculation I done a few months back, that 1100 package could potentially be worth in around 1981 within 2 months, and within a couple of years we're talking about 15 grand. Such as 5.5 grand package could literally be potentially 23, and within a couple of grand 190,000 euros. Yes, 5 grand in 190,000 euros. And how would it happen and how the whole thing works, I want you is, if you need any more information, you're more than welcome to email me and I'll be more than happy to assist you. So guys, this is the chart that we believe that it could hit in between 50 to 100 euros per coin in, let's say, in next year and a half, 2 years. So guys, in a nutshell, we are about to enter into the biggest financial crisis we have ever known and experienced. I genuinely believe people who are saving money every month-to-month basis, and they think these currency of euro, US dollar and pound sterling or any other currency, paper currency they use, and that could actually save them from any economic crisis. So I'm sorry to say, no, it won't save you. In fact, I believe savers will lose. The decisive people will gain, who wants to move along with the trend. Now, paper money, now remember, that has been manipulated by the private banking sector and central banks all around the world. It's not going to hit any banks, guys. It will only hit you or me, small to medium sized enterprises and our employees. It will hit us, big companies, big corporations. They have already invested into these trends. So, but the secret is the wealth never really disappear, guys. It's always transferred from unknown to the known, from uneducated to the educated, and from undecisive to the decisive people. Now you're given all the information, all these wealth strategies. If you need a proof from me that how did I invest, how much I have invested into all these strategies, what kind of results I'm achieving, you're more than welcome to email me at zach@zachharristrader.com, or else you can simply email me at zach@tsetrends.com, and I'd be more than happy to assist you, show you my own account of what I have achieved in the last couple of years. Thanks very much, guys, and have a great day.